I'm Insomniac.
And I'm Pops.
And this is Shooting the Shit.
a.k.a. Chatting with Pops.
Was good.
Now that one was pretty decent. I'd like to see something.
Alright, this is episode 24 of Shooting the Shit, a.k.a. Chatting with Pops. Whose topic is this?
I'm not sure.
There you go. Chris Surfazo. Sorry if I ruined that. And it says, how about your favorite or what you deem to be most hilarious childhood memories? So, Senior's got about 1 million of them.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
This is good.
Let's get started.
All right, so I honestly, I could just go on forever, but I'm gonna try to pick off this list. And yes, I do have a paper again. I'll start off with, in my neighborhood, around the corner, lived this friend of mine, Zanny, and he had this dog. Well, let me explain. I would get on my bike and I would start riding down Myrtle Street, and all of a sudden I'd get along by Zanny's house and I'd hear tick, 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 tick. And out come this fucking dog. Was never chained up, never on a fucking leash. He would come charging out of that fucking yard. I didn't even get started, you fucking dragon. Bafango, what the fuck? I give up.
This is the best beer ever. 3 Philosophers. What do you know about that?
Wow.
Smell that. It's
Get the fuck out of here. I'm telling a story. Now you fucked up the story.
You're saying you were riding your bike.
So Mongo was his name. I was just informed, thank you Joe Plum for backstory, that his name was Poker and he was abused by his former owner. Well, guess what? That dog chased me down the fucking street 100 times. I'm pedaling my ass off. He's nipping at my heels. Fucking bastard. I was trying to kick him off. That fucking dog. But anyway, it's a funny memory now.
Let me get that.
I'm in the middle of a fucking story. You can get that later. Wow, this fucking guy, he's got to fuck up my shit. You want to throw one in?
Alright, well, apparently my childhood either wasn't that funny or I don't remember most of it. Almost all of my memories start at high school. I used to like to screw around in school. I was the only kid that I knew of that was in the dean's office every other day, but also on the honor roll. I was just bored, I think.
Yeah, he was bored.
I was bored. I decided at one time, I was in auto tech, and I decided I wanted to screw at people. Actually, I have 2 stories on here of me screwing at people when the bell rang, changing classes. So I had my friend Nick hold the door open, and I said, yeah, just hold the door open when the bell rings. And I had one of my friends help me. I don't remember which friend, but who cares? You don't know them anyway. And we took a bunch of tires, and as soon as the bell rang, my friend took 2 or 3, I took 2 or 3, and we rolled them all down the hallway right as the bell rang.
Wow.
So people were like dodging tires, getting hit by tires, people were falling over. It was a good time.
Fucking bad.
It was a good time.
Yeah. And the next story is the pool. The pool. Fucking, we had a pool in the backyard. We had 2 different pools, but this was the first pool. So me and my sister, we used to go into the pool and swim. My father, there was a kid in the neighborhood, I'll just say Brian, some of you who's watching will fucking know who I'm talking about, and he said, I do not want that bastard, and he said it just that way, that no good bastard in the pool. Sure, Dad. Well, did we listen?
You?
No, he didn't want Brian in our pool.
Oh, Brian. Oh.
Brian. So, we got Brian in the pool. When my father came home, he walked in the yard. He had a smile initially, thought we were in the pool, hot summer day. Spotted Brian in the pool, and he went, ah! And he went fucking crazy, ran in the garage. My old man was a loose cannon. Ran in the garage and got an axe. And he axed this fucking pool with us in it. And me and my sister were able to get out just in time. Brian did the wave of water with the fucking liner all the way down the fucking driveway. And
that's one way to get rid of him.
So, yeah, that was fucking hilarious. Looking back, it's funnier than when it happened. Like, well, that's just madness. I mean, a lot of my stories are going to be kind of quite fucked up and twisted, but they're funny. You got another one?
Oh yeah, I got another one. All right, so this one takes place at Colgate Park, and I'll put a picture of it on screen so you know exactly what it looks like. It's basically a giant baseball field in my town, and there's like kind of like a big overlook on top where you can actually drive. And that part I probably won't have in the picture. I couldn't find one. But anyway, we were there at night, me and a bunch of friends. I think Nate was there. This was with that kid Dan, who I don't really talk to anymore. Actually, a few of my stories involve Dan because lots of ridiculousness ensued with him. Anyway, we were just bored, so we brought a camera, a golf club, a golf ball, and a traffic cone up there. Now, I had never hit a golf ball in my whole life. So the fact that this even happened still blows my mind. But we were taking turns hitting. I had a bag of golf balls actually from the guy across the street.
Oh my god.
That's another story. We brought this bag of golf balls over there. We said, let's hit some golf balls into the park at night. So we all took turns. I think, my brother was there, and we all hit some golf balls. Dan hit a golf ball way down somewhere into the park. So he's down there looking for the ball. And I don't know why, because I had like 90 golf balls. But anyway, he was down there looking for the ball. He was way the fuck down there, though, and I figured, I've never hit a golf ball before. I can't aim for shit, so there's no way I'm going to hit anybody. So he was still down there somewhere in the dark, but I said, fuck it. You know, I put my ball on the not the tee, the traffic cone. I put it on the traffic cone, and I said, I nailed the ball. And I couldn't see it. I don't know where it was going. And it goes way down into the park, into the dark. I can't see where it went. I don't know. All of a sudden, I hear Dan go, ugh, like way the hell down there, and he falls down in the grass. And I'm like, what the hell's that about? I'm like, Dan, what are you doing? And he's not answering any of us. And we're just like, Gary, this isn't funny, Dan. Like, what's the problem? So we went over there. We ran down into the field of where he was. And he's like rolling around, and he's holding his chest. And he's like, oh my God. Oh, I think I'm gonna die. We limped him home. He had a welt on his chest the size of a softball. I remember my mom was like, you should probably bring him to the hospital. Dan was like, oh no, I'll be alright. Somehow out of the entire park, I managed to hit him like a huge distance away with a golf ball.
Unbelievable.
That was the first and last time I ever actually hit a golf ball.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
That's a true story. I remember that. I'll just throw in quick ones. Again, Zanny's house around the corner where the dog Mongo was. We put up a ramp, and we had our bikes, and we were jumping on the ramps. Well, we're jumping, we're making it higher, jumping, everything's good. So we finally make the ramp way too high. As high as maybe the top of a car. So nobody else is gonna try it, but I'm gonna try it because I'm out of my fucking mind. I go down the street to get up all the momentum I can, come up this driveway, hit this ramp, go flying in the fucking air. I come straight down, smash my fucking face, my ribs, passed out. They had to wake me up, and I know I busted at least a rib or two. What a mess. But this was funny. Again, not funny in that moment. They were all dying laughing, they were fucking crying. Today, it is a funny story. So that's another one. Gad, what do you got?
All right, well, shortly after me and my friends got our driver's licenses, we were having a discussion on my front steps. The discussion was which one of the cars is fastest. Now, my friend at the time, Corey, had a 4-cylinder Fox body Mustang. For those of you who have ever been in one of those, it has the same engine as the 4-cylinder Ford Ranger in it, the 2.3 or 2.4. It was a piece of shit. Really slow. At the time, I was driving a 1992 Mercury Sable, which we talked about in the we talked about in the video about some of our cars that we've owned. And I was like, that car's way faster than yours. And then Nate decided to throw in, for some reason, his mom, this was 2006 or 7. His mom had a brand new GMC Yukon Denali. And he was like, I can get my mom's Denali. I bet you that's faster than the Sable. And I'm like, look, I was like, the Sable's faster than both of those cars. And we have a street around here that used to be good for racing over there, on Pleasant.
Yeah.
Now, forget it, it'll jolt your teeth out. But, so we took all 3 cars over there, and we decided me and Corey are going to race, and then the wild card would be Nate gets to race the winner with his mom's Yukon. So I raced Corey. I beat him by like 19 bus lengths. But it wasn't like a proud race because his car was so slow that I was like, wow, that didn't really feel very good. So then it came down to me and Nate with the Yukon, and he actually won. But I mean, it was brand new and it had a V8 in it.
He won.
But you know, it was he only won by like, you know, a car length or two. So you know, the old Sable still did its thing with that 3-liter V6. But I mean, I guess you had to be there for that to be hilarious. I think it was the fact that the race was so shitty. It was two shitty ass old cars on a side street.
You had to be there for that.
And then Nate whipped out a brand new, at the time, $40-something thousand SUV to race me. Oh man.
I'm gonna spew off a bunch because you don't have a lot more. Brian Neary's ball sack.
Stop it. Get some
back
help.
to the Nearys. I'm just sticking a name out here. Some of you are gonna know.
That's suspicious.
He climbed up the fucking tree. Same guy that floated down the driveway. Climbs up the tree in his yard. Goes to shimmy back down. There's a nail in the tree. Rips his whole fucking ball sack open. And a bunch of us were standing around. And believe me, it was a laugh, even though we felt bad and he got rushed to the hospital. So there's one. Tell me that ain't fucking funny. Oh my God, here's a great one. One day my father goes to the window in my bedroom, lifts up the blind, or the shade. We had shades. And he says, "What the fuck?" He starts yelling and screaming. We all come running in the bedroom. And in the grass next door, and the old man lived there, his grass was real high. I won't mention your two names. One I'm friends on Facebook with. In the grass, two people from the neighborhood. He's fucking the girl in the grass, right out in broad daylight, with their pants down. My father's screaming, they're still going. We're all looking out the window. I'm fucking dying. Holy shit, that was fucking bad. Oh, here's a good one. We had a tenant on the 3rd floor of our house. Her name was Stelma. And she went outside to warm her car up to move it. And my father's car, he had this car he loved, a Granada, 1976 Granada, loved it. Parked behind her. She goes out, warms her car, warm the car, you know, the joke's on this, it's running around. And for whatever reason, she put it in reverse. Went up on the front of my father's car, totaled his fucking car. My father goes running outside, and he called her, I can't even say the names here, I don't want it, they're fun. But he called her, I'll just say, he called her every whore, every fucking scumbag. He called her every name under the sun. He was so fucking angry. I'm telling you, my stories are fucked up, but they're funny. There's no way these people making a laugh at this shit, because it's fucked up.
I guess I'll throw one in there.
Yeah, throw one in.
This was also high school. This was also me bored and deciding to ruin people's transition from one class to another. Carlos was in there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But, you know, I won't put the blame on him. This was my idea, and him and this other friend of ours, Max, just went along. We were measuring vectors. At least that was the science project.
Vectors.
Yeah, forget it. It was a stupid science thing in this class we had, but we were handed these 100-meter tape measures. They were huge, right? So we finished our assignment pretty quick. He was in my class, Carlos. And I said, you know what, the bell's about to ring. I was like, let's go inside for a minute. So I don't remember if I had him or Max hold the tape measure with the one end. One of them held it. I took the other end and I ran all the way to the opposite end of the main hallway with it. Right before the bell rang. So the bell rang, and we're so far apart because this thing is so large that you can't see me or the other person holding the other end. But all you saw was right down the center of the hallway at about chest length, there was a giant tape measure. So everyone came out, they were confused as shit because people needed to cross the hallway. So people started lifting it, you know, trying to step over it. Well, that's creating, you know, chaos all the way down the hallway. So now you see books on the floor, people are falling over. It's this gigantic mess. It looks like Armageddon in the hallway. And I remember a couple of teachers came out and they finally figured out that I was holding the end of the tape measure. And they started screaming, although the funny thing is, the one teacher that pulled me into one of the classrooms, she went from yelling to she was trying to discipline me, but she was laughing her ass off. And I thought that was fantastic. I always enjoyed slowing down people's commute from one class to another, because I wasn't going to show up to the next one on time anyway. So that was a good time.
Yeah. Now that he's talking about school, I'll go there. When I was in South Junior High School, I got out of lunch early, and I forget who my accomplice was, maybe Morris. We went in the back hallway, and they had the old fire extinguishers that squirted this liquidy, slippery stuff that was dangerous, and I sprayed all the fucking stairs and waited on the bottom till the bell rang. and people coming out of lunch. I mean, I don't know.
I tried to confuse people. He tried to send everyone to the
to the hospital. I don't know who might have been hurt, but I'm sure they were. But again, that's a fucked up story, but I did it. And then, in the cafeteria, South Junior High again, me and Morris, Big Morris, for those of you who are wondering, there's small Morris, Big Morris.
Who the hell would be wondering that?
Well, there's a big and small Morris.
Oh, you mean people at... Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. So, we went around and told everybody in the cafeteria, at the specific time right before the bell, everybody go put your fucking, just like the confusion you did with your tape, your lunch, the holders or thing you got your lunch on, down in the chute. Well, everybody got up and went to do it. Talk about mayhem. Man, did we get screwed. They kept everyone in the cafeteria, Mr. Craig, Mr. Nankin, when they come upstairs, bawled us out, screamed at us. We were throwing fucking trays from behind. Then it turned into a fucking food fight. There was no time we actually started a food fight. It was a mayhem. Funny shit, just like stories you're telling about school. I have a million about South Junior High. Again, South Junior High, I had this teacher, Mr. Burke. We didn't get along. Well, me and some of my other friends, Gary and Gerard, he would hang out in the hallway and let us go in the room and wait. So we would fuck his whole room up. We'd rip the fucking... I remember one day we ripped it was a history class. We ripped the history things down, actually broke them. Broke the phone. We broke the phone to call the office. It was hanging there broken.
Probably a smart decision.
Opened the drawers of his desk, turned the fucking thing upside down. Shit. Then we all sat down. He came in and he had a saying, heads are gonna roll. He was good for that. He walked in, looked around, we're all sitting there real nice with our hands folded. And he said, heads are gonna roll. And man, what a fucking mess that turned into. And I have stories all night about South Junior High. Another time, Miss Jensen, if some of them will remember Miss Jensen, she threw me out of the class. I went to the office, they suspended me. I did something fucked up. Because I was good for that, remember? I got suspended, and her class was down on the bottom floor, right near the courtyard. So I went in the courtyard. It was snowing like a bastard. And one of my friends opened the window for me, and I made an ice ball, and I fucking beat the shit out of Miss Jensen. Again, I don't know how I didn't get expelled for half the shit I did. I had a fist fight with Mr. Burke. I had a fist fight. We were rolling on the floor over an eye gouging incident. I got suspended for 7 days. My mother, they were expelling me, actually. My mother begged them not to do that. I remember one time when I had the Buick Electra. I'm in the car, me and my friends, we're out fucking around, and I'm coming over near Westinghouse, where it used to be Westinghouse. I'm doing probably 60. Cop goes by, he spins around, throws his lights on, and chases us into East Orange. I don't know what the fuck kind of driving I did, but I lost him. And man, my friends, when I stopped wherever, they just all got out of the car. Oh man, that was funny. And then it was another night, I'm going down Bluefield Avenue. Me and Pete Natal, we're in the car, and we're going down Bluefield Avenue. We're all in a Camaro. It's giving us the eye, we're at a light. We're down there near Newark, near Dickie D's. And she's giving us the high sign. So Pete says, come on, let's race her. I start racing this girl, and I'm telling you, I'm doing pretty good with my big Buick Electra with all the guys in it. And all of a sudden, my foot's to the floor, and we're not going anywhere. We're slowing down. And Pete's going, what are you doing? Come on, he's yelling at me. Fucking transmission blown to oblivion. We pushed that fucking car, I want to talk about funny. We pushed that car from near Tingalings, people know where this is, Tingalings, all the way to fuck back to Housing Park. The 3 or 4 of us that were in the car. Those of you who know, that's like 5 miles. It's something stupid. I used to come out of school and throw rocks with this guy, James, at the buses. Bike fucking windows, be running down Berkeley Avenue, laughing our balls off. Old CB radio. Used to get in trouble on there, bother everybody. It all started with my father. My father gets a CB radio, right? He's showing me and Joe Plum, again, Joe Plum. We're sitting with him, he's in the car. Breaker, 190. He's, I need a radio check. Guy comes by, hey, yeah, he goes back, gives him a radio check. I don't know what my father said, but the guy said something like, hey, Big A, you fucking asshole. My father went crazy, screaming in the fucking bike. And he's telling him where he lives, his address. And you know, the funny thing is, we laugh about this, me and my friends, but my old man would have killed him. He probably would have killed him if he came there. He didn't come. And then that was the beginning of my CB days, and we just were terror on there. So, and me and Andy would go cruising. And Andy, I gotta say, you're a retired state trooper now, but you were out of your mind, I was out of my mind. So we would drive around drinking, beer mostly, drive around drinking, And we tossed the fucking beer bottles out the window on Broad Street, all no less. You know where Sanchez is? On Broad Street in Bloomfield. Yeah, just out of our fucking mind. And laughing our balls off. Roll the window down, scream at people on the side of the road. Me and Andy, I mean, I could go on all night. We don't, this episode would be too long. We really need a second part to this episode. Maybe not for Rob. But maybe just...
I only have one more.
He could just sit here and laugh at me. Because there's just so much stuff.
I got a last.
By the way, Pete, you remember when you used to watch Mr. Rogers after school? In junior high school, Pete Natal, you're watching Mr. Rogers, and I'm sitting there watching with you. What were we doing watching Mr. You fucking screwball? Anyway, I mean, there's so much shit I could go on all night. See, he's died. I mean, what the fuck? Adam, go ahead, tell yours.
I got the only one I got left because apparently my brain deleted most of my childhood memories. Was actually with that kid Dan again. He took his grandmother's Subaru Forester out. He was living with his grandmother at the time. And he was like, yeah, this car's great off-road. So we went down the street from his grandmother. We weren't even off the street. We were down the street. And there was like a gap between the houses, a big gap. It was a field. And it was really raked. And it had snowed recently. But he's like, oh yeah, Subaru, I love Subaru. So he decided... let's take the car off-road. So he went up in this field between these two houses.
Not where you go.
He's racing around, and he's sliding the car around, and he's screwing around. We're laughing. You know, he's jumping over stuff. So he decides, all right, let's go, whatever. We're going to get food or something. So he tries to come out of the field, but what we didn't realize is that every, 10 feet or something, there's a tree stump in the ground. We couldn't see that because it was the middle of the night, and like I said, there's a little bit of snow on the ground. So,
and Dan's a fucking cuckoo clock.
He is.
Yeah.
So he got the car stuck on one of these tree stumps, and we're like, all right, come on, we got to get this out of here. So he's trying to rock it. He's trying to floor it over the thing. The car starts smoking. Now, even though there was a big enough gap, the house to the right of us, we see some people in the distance looking out the window. So we're like, well, this isn't good. Somebody's going to call the cops, because you're not supposed to be driving up here anyway. At this point, he's like, oh, this shit, what are we going to do? I'm like, I don't know. I got out and tried to push it. I'm like, all muddy. We couldn't get the car out. And he goes, all right, let's report it stolen.
There you go.
Report it stolen.
Clock. It's grandmother's fucking car.
What the fuck? So he's like, yeah, no, we're going to tell the cops that I left it in the driveway and somebody stole it. And they're going to believe that they drove down the street and up into a field. That doesn't make any sense. But anyway,
wow.
He's panicking. He's trying to get the car out. I ran all the way back down the street to about where his grandmother's house was, and I grabbed a giant rock. And I ran back down the street and I shoved it under the tire, one of the front tires. And he was actually able to bounce the car over the tree stump. But, I mean, we've ruined the bottom of the car doing that. It was leaking about 9 fluids by the time I'm pretty sure it was leaking shit the cars don't even have. He parked it in the garage. We never went and got food. The next day comes, his grandmother takes it somewhere. The car breaks down. She brings it to Subaru. It needs about $20-something $100 worth of repairs. And Dan's like, yeah, I don't know, you must have ran over something.
Wow!
Senile ass grandmother never even questioned it. She was like, oh yeah, I must have ran over something.
Wow.
I was like, holy crap.
What an asshole.
We should have reported it stolen. At least your grandmother wouldn't have to pay for it. It was pretty bad.
And I will end with one last story that I wasn't sure I'd tell, and this is really fucked up. One night, me, my mother, my father, and my sister, we go out. My father tells my brother, don't do certain things, blah, 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 blah. We go out, we come back, and my father goes, I see a light on downstairs, and he goes downstairs. All of a sudden, we hear screaming. Phil, he's yelling for my mother. Phil is, God, the fucking whorehouse, it's a fucking whorehouse. We all go running downstairs, and there's my brother having sex on the floor with his girlfriend. Well, what does my father do, sick bastard that he is? See, a lot of people knew my dad. Oh, I didn't know that. My father was not all there. He pulled him off, drew him across the room, had her by her hair. She was doing a helicopter in the buff. Well, I'm fucking standing there. Now, truthfully, I'm sure I was like, what the fuck? But I'm sure I had a laugh because I couldn't believe what I was fucking seeing. But when the story's told after the fact, there's nobody who doesn't cry and go, that happened? It fucking happened. This has been my life. There's not enough time for what I can make you all fall over and let. And a lot of them were fucked up memories and fucked up things that happened. But today, the laughs that I've had through the years thinking about it are unbelievable. There's just not enough time.
So that was episode 24 of Shooting the Shit, a.k.a. Chatting with Pops. That was a good topic.
Yeah.
Next week's episode is a public episode.
Oh, back to a public.
Episode 25.
Hey!
And of course, that is to inspire people who aren't awesome like yourself to sign up on Patreon,
Be a
so you can
patron.
see these two crazy bastards do this every
Yeah.
single week.
Yeah.
But I would like some new topics coming in, so
Yeah.
make sure that you comment under this video on Patreon and leave your topics there. I will add them to the list. Hopefully we'll get to those. We're having a good time with this.
Yeah, man. Well, we're out. We're done. Thank you. This was a great topic. Honestly, I'd love to do a whole nother session. But
See you all
we're
next
out.
week.
Roll Insomniac.